क्या था?
Yes, ma'am. You are unmuted.
या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्मा सत्शंकरा प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा नः पातु सरस्वती भगवती निशेषजाड्यापः निशेषजाड्यापः निशेषजाड्यापः.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. After getting the blessings of Ma Saraswati, it's a great time and we are already 9:30. So I would like to inform all of you, as this being a total virtual session, the itinerary of the session will be, we have concluded the Saraswati Vandana. Then we will be having a formal launch of the e-delegate kit, which will be sent to all the attendees of the session today. This e-delegate kit will be including a token of gratitude, a memento, obviously an online form to all the attendees, a certificate of participation, as well as a memorabilia I would like to show to all of you with the permission of our chief guest of today, Professor Sanjeev K. Jha sir. Sir, can you allow me so that I can show to all the participants?
Yes, please.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Himanshu, can we have a look of the token of gratitude?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Can you make it to the full screen? Yes. This is a token of gratitude that will be conveyed and mailed to all those who are joining here, because they all are respected academicians, teachers. In addition to this, a certificate of participation for those who are attending today's webinar, today's deliberation, that will be sent. And at the last, we have just taken an initiative, collected information. This is the certificate of participation, which is visible on your screen. And in addition to that, we'll be sharing an initiative of ours, that is a memorabilia of 50 simple virtues of an ideal medical teacher. 50 simple qualities of an ideal medical teacher. These are just 50. The qualities are endless. What we tried to gain, what we got from all the resources, and what we tried to cultivate, that is all we have comprehended in this manual. And this manual will be circulated to all those who are attending the session today. Again, they are all our respected professionals. So after the end of this session, all these 3 documents along with a feedback form will be sent to all the delegates, and a token of gratitude to our eminent orator and chief guest of the session, Sanjeev K. Jha. Thanks a lot. With this information, I would like to invite Professor Sanjeev K. Jha sir for his words of wisdom and for his blessings. And after sir's session, I would like to request Professor Hariyar sir to start today's session. Sanjeev K. Jha sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Hers, and let me welcome all the participants on this very important day, that is Teachers' Day. We all believe that we all are teacher for each and every one of others. And I believe that to be a good teacher, you should be a good student. And a good teacher can be a good student only when the teacher is having certain very good qualities, and that good qualities I feel that I was just going through that what is the meaning of teacher, then I can say that teacher, T for talented, E for elegant, A for awesome, C for charming, H for helpful. You know, I don't believe in that sort of teacher who are not helpful. And E for efficient, he should be a efficient personality. And the most important, and that is R, is receptive. If you are ready to receive, then only you can be a good teacher. So I believe that we all should understand, and this important day when I can remember Dr. Sarupalli Radhakrishnan and Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, because these two people, I take a lot of inspiration from them. And everything, whatever you do in your life, maybe a minute thing, maybe a big thing, always it has got some source of inspiration. And that source of inspiration is very important in everyone's life and each other's life. And I feel that the best teacher in this world is the person who teaches from the heart, not from the book. So we all should be there, putting our heart out, putting our efficiency, spreading across, and the most important, keeping the ego side, taking everybody as a friend, and keep this in mind, then let's move in a direction where we make physiotherapy one of the best profession of the world. It is already there, but in this country, we need to do a lot of work. And I believe that teachers are the key. And I feel those who are listening to me, I am in 26th year of my academic career. And I believe that I don't know how this time passed away, but this is the third decade of my teaching and my professional career. And I believe that all of you, Dr. Hars Mohan, I am very proud that one of my students is doing such a great work, a great group of people as physio inculcators. I feel just keep doing good work along with IAP and along with all the good professionals. The only thing keep in mind, always see the positivity, move in a positive direction. And I feel all of you are too good. That way you should continue. Keep your positivity and let's keep this thing. Let me tell you that never afraid of failures, because I always believe that failure is success in progress. And I always say, whenever I am on the stage, I always say, yes, let me fail, because I will learn from that failure. And I know that 1,000 of failures will give me at least 2 of success or 1 of success. And that 1 success is the time for what every teacher and every student should wait. And that is the key of success. That is the key how we should move. And I feel all of us, all those who have joined this very nice platform, let me tell you that let's present the past, let's reveal the present, and let's create the future. Let's move in a direction where we all take this physiotherapy profession ahead. Let's move in a direction where we make our physiotherapists proud. Let's move in a direction where everyone's dream, every physio's dream should come true. And let's move in a direction where we take everybody together to make this profession best. I will say a big congratulations to Dr. Hars Mohan for organizing such a nice program. Please keep doing that. Whenever you need my help, just give me a call. I'm always there for your, means I will feel proud to be associated with you. And I can say this, and I can say this to Dr. Harrier Prakash, my one of the good friend. All the best from my side. Please keep doing your good work. And physio inculcators, please keep moving Keep taking the positivity to all the students and everyone, and always believe that everyone is a teacher and everyone is a student. Let's grasp from wherever we can. Thank you. Thanks for calling me here, and all the best to everybody. And again, happy birthday to Dr. Ritu ma'am. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir. Heartiest gratitude for your words of wisdom and blessings to all of us. And it's because of the aura of your presence and Professor Harihar's presence, the attendees, the teachers of today's session include from an age group of 25 to 61. और ऐसे भी टीचर्स हैं सर जिनके स्टूडेंट्स पीएचडी कर चुके हैं, दोनों अटेंड कर रहे हैं ये सेशन. सो इट इज द ग्रेस ऑफ बोथ ऑफ योर प्रेजेंस. Thanks a lot for your blessings, for your words. Over to you, Professor Harihar sir. You can start the session. The forum is all yours. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Jha. And it is always nice to listen whenever we hear you on the stage or off the stage. It's always a good feeling that we get for the profession. And at the outset, let me just place my humble apologies that because of my other schedule, Physio Inculcates group have really taken efforts to push my schedule from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. It would have caused some inconvenience for many people who are early to bed, who get up early in the morning. But it was unavoidable situation that I need to postpone it due to some of my other pre-scheduled. Thank you so much for that. Let me place that apologies well before. And I should initially, at the second outset, let me all say my humble thanks, gratitude to Physio Inculcates, Dr. Harsh and Dr. Himanshu. I'm sure that they have fallen in love with me, I should say. Because it's been, some other way they try to invite me on this platform, and of course it's made for each other. Even I feel touched whenever they initiate some program through which there is transfer of knowledge that occurs. I guess it's the third or the fourth forum that we are meeting on the same platform. I feel humbled, honored, privileged, and highly thankful to both of you and the whole team of Physio Inculcates. I think this is not an easy job of daily organizing a webinar, because we come one day, talk and move away, but these people are daily on the online platform, inviting eminent speakers, coming in with a lot of new topics, and it is happening, and they have crossed 100 plus. That's a big achievement. I should clap for this to your team. That's something amazing. It's a very good job. It is. As I asked Himanshu, do you have a family? You have wife and kids around you? Because how could you be able to manage to do it every day? I think that's the passion that all of you that you have, for this profession, which is making you move like this. If you do a small data analysis of how many people have moved on to online platforms and doing some good job, I think Physio Inculcates will top the numbers, I guess. They have been doing it untiringly. And I think now I should disagree with my statement when me and Sanjeev sir were talking in the beginning that we missed the online forum. But I think you have made it a little bit possible by having a nice, Saraswati Vandana with the photograph. I think it was almost like a stage feel that I got it. It was very nice, and an auspicious day. This is Rajdeep's birthday, and my best wishes to her too. And what else, the best gift that I can get on this Teacher's Day, remembering Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, and as Sanjeev sir said, our own Abdul Kalam ji. What an honor that I think it's my lifetime memory that I'm delivering a talk with my humble knowledge, whatever I have gained from my giant teachers who have taught me. I should say that my first teacher is my mother. She taught me for my nursery, and moving on towards and many people, including you all, and of course, many patients and many pediatric age group population who have taught me many things, humbleness, empathetic feeling. So day in and day out, as Jha sir said, we are learning many things. So when you are a teacher, you become a learner. And with this thankful note, let me just get on to the topic which I have planned to deliver. And I assure you that I'll not take more than 40-45 minutes because it's already the late hours. But I'll not miss any content what I have planned for. So I'll be sharing that most important topic, which is so close to my heart. When Dr. Harsh and Himanshu approached me, I felt this will be the right platform as a gratitude to my teachers who have taught me, where I have moved from a small tiny thought to this much little bit level of whatever that I could able to do. That's because of these inputs which I've got. I thought I can place it on this day as a gratitude to the teachers, all the teachers, mentors, and everybody. May I be allowed to share the screen, please? I'll keep my
Yes,
video
sir.
off for comfortable sake.
Yes, sir. You can share your screen, sir. You're allowed, sir.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I'll go on to the slideshow mode, full screen mode. Is it visible now to all of you?
Yes, sir. It's visible, sir.
Great. Okay. So this is my topic, interprofessionalism, the education and practice for the present and the future healthcare system. I'm from Baikaka University, K.M. Patel Institute of Physiotherapy, which is located in the milk capital of India, that is Anand, which is in Gujarat. And more so that it is Karamsad, which is the birthplace of our own Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who has fought for our independence. He could able to breathe the free air because of his hard efforts, along with Mahatma Gandhi ji and many people. This institute is located just near the birthplace of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. I welcome all of you who are on the virtual platform. Anytime to come to our place, I'll take you around for that. So moving on to the topic, the main objectives of my talk is I'm going to define what is interprofessional education and practice and the background, why it is very important, why do we emphasize this at this juncture, and this core competencies for this education, and identify some instructional strategies so that you could able to use it in your clinical setting, and how it can be useful for the students used based on the core competencies. I should say, this is the right time that interprofessionalism has been executed. Now we are all in the grip of the nightmare Corona. It is, in fact, it has shaken up the world. I should say the earth is under maintenance. Everything has come to a standstill still 2 months before. First lockdown, second lockdown, and third lockdown, and it is going to be with us for so many months ahead. Deep prayers that let us all survive out of this and live a happy and a free life. But if you see why I use this terminology interprofessionalism at this juncture, you can see it is just not alone the healthcare professionals who are fighting for this pandemic. We call ourselves as Corona warriors. But you can, if you just deeply think about it, you have many people, many professionals who have come into play to combat this pandemic. For example, the police officials who are, day in and day out, who are working on the roads, and there are so many Safai Karamcharis, people who are sanitary officers. The government machinery itself has moved, engineers and the researchers, everybody, every nook and corner, and even a simple household, we people by wearing a mask and washing their hands. It's a huge amount of people who are working against this disease. What else can be the best example of interprofessional approach? This itself is an example that to face any challenge, to ease out a problem, it is just not one professional who works. It is group of people who are coming together to work for the betterment of the society. So that's how I thought this one simple example made me think this is an important topic and way ahead. And there are a lot of things that we can do when you collaborate with many people. Let me move on to the next slide. You can see this simple photographs. You have one corner that is the doctors, and the other corner there is a nurse, the pharmacist, the dentist. The doctors, if they say we are the doctors, we only lead the team. They take it, egoistically. I am the one. The nurse says, excuse me, because of nurses only, we are the heart of the hospital. Doctors can be the brain of the hospital, but without me, how can you, move a patient? And similarly, the pharmacist claim that you can do whatever you want, but you can prescribe a medicine. Only we people who manufacture, the chemists, we could able to do that, So, and then the dentist says if it is any problem related to dental, the physician can't do anything. It is a dental surgeon. At the same time, we as physios also can say that, we add more, quality of life to the ears, what the doctors does it. So when you see, at this present junction, we are better than before, but a decade before, if you saw, we all worked in silos. In the medical education, that's a word called as silos. Silos means a person who is working just as a singular area, that I am the only one who are doing it. And it was like that a decade or 2 decades before. How many of you can remember, the family doctor concept? Family doctor concept is, I myself can recollect my own memories in the childhood. Whenever I have any problem, maybe related to stomach upset, or it can be a headache, or it can be an injury, it can be a fracture, it can be any nervous disorder. We don't go to the neurosurgeon, or we don't go to the orthopedician. My dad used to take me to the family doctor as a fixed stature. He only assesses us and he directs us to a dental person or to a surgeon, etc., etc. So it means he was the first point of contact through whom we get our health status set all right. But nowadays, too much of specializations have come in. It has. In fact, I'm scared and I'm afraid. Sometimes I say to my friends and people, also to my students too, sometimes that the day will come that this physiotherapist will say, I am a specialist for the right-sided hemiplegic. The other person will say that I am a specialist for foot drop. We segmentalize the body and we try to limit ourselves to one area. By saying this, I don't say that super specialty is not needed. Of course, we have come a long way in the Indian medical history, right from Hippocrates to till now. We have come a long way, and so much of specialization has come in, which have really saved so many lives. But saying this again, I wanted to emphasize that we need not to be working as a silo. We have to understand the importance of other professionals, and we should try to go for collaborative practice. Please take my word. This is one word which I want to emphasize. It is collaborative practice, where we collaborate with many people. So this slide, Ramanov in the year 2002 had talked about this. How can they work together if they don't learn together? This one single word has kindled me, which had in fact made me go into this FAMER fellowship. I should say the reason why I got into this fellowship program in advancement of medical education research. This is a fellowship program which is highly dominated by the medical professionals. By saying this, I'd say they are the MBBS, MS, MD doctors. But in the last 5 to 10 years, I should say that there are physiotherapy people also who are getting on to this medical education research profession, this FAMER fellowship, where interprofessionalism is taught as one of the core areas. If healthcare providers are expected to work together, and when I say that we have to share our expertise in a team environment, it makes sense only when they educate and get the training in that type of working environment. There is a medical college, there is a nursing college, there is a physiotherapy college, there is a dental college. How many institutes have a physiotherapist going on and teaching a dental person? And how many, sorry? Am I audible? Himanshu, is that okay? Things are going on well? Harsh, can you just give a feedback, small feedback? Okay, thank you. The thumbs up has given me a picture. So, what I mean to say is that where is that we all sit together to learn? Do you have in your, just rewind back all the professionals sitting over here. Have you ever had a dental student sitting in your classroom? Have you ever leave this medical sciences? There are chances that in a big hospital, like when I belong to Pondicherry, we had MBBS and dental people and physiotherapy students sitting together to learn anatomy, physiology. But now the world has moved much more faster, and there are engineers in Western countries who sit in a medical school and learn from that people. And there are some medical professionals who sit with the mechanical engineers where they learn about it. Why do I say this? Let me give a small example to make everyone understand the simple concept of collaborative practice. Let's say example, a person with diabetic foot got amputated. Okay, so that maybe the people who are all into the role is the diabetologist, that is the endocrinologist, medical physician for some areas, physiotherapist, occupational therapist, orthotist, prosthetist. So there are a group of people who are from the medical background who takes care of this individual, and he, by God forbids, and he could not able to escape, and he got his limb amputated. Okay, so when the amputation occurs, though we have let's say our own example, like we as physiotherapists can strengthen the other side of the body. We can strengthen the stump muscles. All these muscles can be strengthened. And at the end of it, you need a good, nice prosthesis. So you all will agree to me. So prosthesis is, we can advise, but the orthotist is the one who puts that in the body. But is that the orthotist who makes the prosthesis? Is that he is the person who makes that joint? No. Who makes it? It can be a biomedical engineer, and it is a mechanical engineer who does it. So ultimately, it is some other professionals who works on this. Because I was fortunate enough to be invited by Indian Institute of Technology, IIT Guwahati, Assam, last October, when they installed a good, nice clinical gait analysis lab. And it is an IIT, and the biomedical engineering and the mechanical engineering department invited me to throw some light on the clinical aspect of gait analysis. So when I went over there, I was taken inside the IIT labs, and I saw the huge lab where they have with all the surrounds cameras and all, forced platform, and they are making huge, good, nice knee joint with instantaneous axis of rotation. So they are so thorough with biomechanics. They could able to talk all these axes, ranges, rotations, so that was, I was taken aback and amazed to see so many people who are working for the betterment of the global health of the population. So that made me realize that that so many professionals are needed for us. And even for this example, why to go for we are there on the Zoom platform, right? Hope the time is not over. Himanshu or Harsh, can you please give me a feedback?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because I was a little bit worried that 40 minutes
No,
time
no, no.
we have.
No issue, sir. No issue. We can easily go ahead. The session will be continued. There is no restriction of time.
Great. Thank you. So, let's take this as an example. During this COVID time, we have adopted so well nicely the online teaching. Again, I appreciate the efforts of, I don't want to miss a chance to appreciate physio inculcators. They could able to make a nice Zoom online platform. So do you think that as physiotherapy teachers, will it be possible for us to teach students, people from Jharkhand, madam is there, people from Ujjain are there, and across, people from Himachal Pradesh are there, So how is it possible? This is because of the software engineers who have created this platform. We are using that. We could able to use this computer network, and I could able to talk to you. We don't feel the distance. We are connected together. So it is because of those software engineers we could able to. So it is not possible that we can even able to pass a single day without other professionals in our life. A farmer in his field cultivates, rice or paddy or wheat, and through which we are eating it. An electrician in an electrical board, he supplies electricity for us, because of which I could able to run my laptop and we could able to talk to each other. A telecommunication department give me a nice network through any of the service provider through whom I can talk to. So you can't imagine yourself a single day that can be passed that I can alone survive. That's why it is said that human beings are social animals. Even for the survival also, we need so many people around us which will make us live happily and comfortably. So let's imagine that we have fallen sick, COVID time. People are there dying in numbers. They are dying in bunches. They are like, for deaths are happening in bunches. But you can see how many people are working hard for that. So many people, the pharmaceutical company, ICMR, they are trying to find vaccine for that. As I said in the beginning, police people are really having vigilant, and physiotherapists are working in the post-COVID ward, and all the intensivists. So many people are working hard for that. So this is very important. Now this single slide can help you. The framework I have shown it. If you can see over here, the local health needs, we are presently now fragmented. Though I talk about, high about this interprofessionalism, but still we are fragmented. We are not connected. So when we have this interprofessional education, which I'm going to talk to you in the coming slides, this is the present and future health workforce. So we need to form a team as a health workforce. Let's join people on board. Let's try to welcome more people who can collaborate with us and start a collaborative practice, and then we can strengthen this health systems so that we could able to come with improved health outcomes. If any person who wanted to work on the global health, who want to be highly successful in his career, please include as many people as you can. Let's not worry about that. That's the problem over here, is that that's a hidden agenda, that if I share my patient, if I refer my patient to somebody else, the patient will be out of my hands. It happened, in fact, there is always a tussle between physiatrists, orthopedicians. Sometimes, when the patient is referred to physiotherapy, वो हम कब्जा कर लेते हैं पेशेंट को, उनकी तरफ वापस नहीं जाते हैं, ना सर्जरी करने की जरूरत पड़ती है. So that thought should be completely eradicated. Sometimes now the world that the table has turned. It is we physiotherapists who many times refer the patient for going for total knee replacement. And there are, in country like US, they expect a physiotherapist to give a signature that this patient cannot be treated anymore conservatively, so he needs to be operated. The system over there is different for that reason. Why they do that? Because it's the insurance system, the government spends over there. But still, physiotherapist people are gaining a lot of importance, and that is what is collaborative. He gives a green signal, the surgeon operates, and then he sends back the patient back to the physiotherapist. We work and we involve recreational therapists, we involve occupational therapists, sometimes physical trainers. So many people come on board, sometimes school teachers for young kids. We have to collaborate with so many. We have to be open-minded, eyes wide open, ears wide open, so that we can see more people coming on board. So this is the Institute for Healthcare Improvement. This is a framework. You see a triangle over here, and this is talking about the population health. If you see the definition of physiotherapy and open up the definition of public health, you can see it's so close to each other. We are working for the community. The definition of public health and the definition of physiotherapy is much more similar to each other. The community medicine, every aspect of what we are doing is having a community touch. So that means that we are working for the global population health, and we have to have a good balance between the experience of care for that individual within that population. And then now it is a pandemic. It is not just a epidemic. It is a pandemic. It is global problem. How much is the per capita cost that every government is spending? So we have to study. When you want to study this system, it is just not alone the healthcare professionals who will be playing a role in eradicating a problem. You have to involve so many people, so that will also reduce the cost. So there is a paradigm shift in our practice. So this is few decades before. On the left side, you can see it is physician-centered practice, and now we are moving on to patient-centered practice. The patient is there in the center, and we are all revolving around them. Whatever the patient needs, we have to give. I remember last year, I was invited to, in a Delhi University College of Medical Sciences, they conducted a wonderful workshop. It's a collaborative workshop where they talked about SDM. What is SDM? That is shared decision making. Shared decision making is just nothing but involving the patient in your decision making process. Let's say, for an example, this patient with osteoarthritis, and some a decade before or so, the doctor says that you have to get it operated, and the patient he doesn't have a freedom to talk to the doctor. Why should I do? Can I survive without that? But today's system is not like that. It is patient-centered. You involve them. It is like, shortwave diathermy. One of the most fascinated and the machine which I like the most in physiotherapy is shortwave diathermy, not microwave, not this, anything isokinetic machine also. For the simple reason, why I say this, because that is the shortwave diathermy is one machine which is incomplete in the circuit. Without, if you involve the patient into it, then only we call it as patient circuit. That means the patient has to come in between the electrodes, then only the machine will function. So patient is in the center. You have to involve him in the decision-making process, and he has a full right to ask you any question, and he will have the full freedom to have come to a consensus and say that, yes, I'm ready for it. The doctor says, we will not sell any surgery anymore. The patient needs to buy that. I need PKR to be done. And our patients are much more sophisticated. They come and tell me, I need a shortwave diathermy, I need transcutaneous electrical nervous stimulator. It doesn't mean that we give them the complete picture that they only do it, but we have to involve them in our decision-making process. That is what is moving from practitioner autonomy to team collaboration. We involve more than one person in our team. Previously, it was focused on illness and cure. We wait for the problem to come. And when we were students, we talked about only curative medicine and rehabilitation medicine. We were doing that only. All the hospitals even now are running a sickness care industry. Whatever the hospital is, all sickness care. You know, we wait for the patient and they come. How many hospitals are doing it as a healthcare industry? We have to focus on health promotion. There is a statement in our schools, many of you Harsh will agree. We call it as prevention is better than cure. You know, prevention is better than an ounce of, you know, money spent on prevention is, you know, better than, you know, pound of money spent on that. But it is now, there is no betterment. It is prevention is cure. There is no better or best. You have to prevent, because today when you fall sick and when you are into the intensive care, that intensive care treatment that you undergo becomes expensive care. People have to sell out their lands. Many people become bankrupt. Intensive changes into expensive. The reason behind is, you know, because we are not focusing on the health promotion. And thanks to our field, I always feel proud of being a physiotherapist, because we have a 100% role in preventive and promotive medicine. It is we who could able to do a lot of good job. So that is why I thought on this auspicious day of Teachers Day celebration, I should share this, you know, to all my fellow people. And previously it was the role of the patient was passive. Now it has involved patients and families. We involve them. The families are also, this is not only for taking consent that I'm going to operate you, I'm going to go for ultrasonography. This is not a concern. They have to talk to them. It's not only in black and white. Okay, that is for documentation purpose, to safeguard oneself, because nowadays violence against physicians are quite common. We take a consent form for that sake. But beyond that, it is how you verbalize, how you talk to them, educate them. That's more important. And previously it was acute and episodic care, but now we go for chronic conditions. There are a lot of chronic conditions, palliative care, hospice care. You know, there are certain things called as, you know, invisible chronic pain syndrome. It is not shown, or invisible disabilities. It is not shown, but is there in the body. So this was all discussed in 2007 in Halifax, which they have you know, given a clear-cut paradigm shift of our practice. Now, the right definition of what is interprofessional education. The picture gives a very nice way of understanding it. It occurs when two or more professions learn about, from, and with each other to enable effective collaboration and improve health outcomes. We have to involve as many people as we can, and so that the people get betterment. This is the logo, you know, this is the logo which I always love it, and it is there in my pocket every day. Learning with each other, with, I mean that with engineers, with orthotists, with physicians, with software engineers, app developers, learning from each other. You're going to learn from and learning about each other. That's called as role clarification. What is my role as a physiotherapist? The orthotist should know. What is the role of an app developer? The physiotherapist should know. When we are having this learning with, from, about each other. This is the slogan in our interprofessional education in FAMER fellowship program, which we learned, which is something very unique to all of us. And I wanted to share it with everybody. Let's try from today onwards, for those who have not practicing this collaborative medicine, let's do it, and you can see the wonders. So what is that practice? When multiple health workers from different professional backgrounds work together with patients, families, caregivers, and communities to deliver the highest quality of care. This was the definition given during the Consortium of National Interprofessional Education way back in 2010 in World Health Organization. So advancing interprofessional education and practice, they are interdependent. I mean to say that it is very tough for us to practice until unless we are not educated in our college level. We call it as integrated, vertical integration, horizontal integration of, you know, we are mostly into, you know, vertical integration, first year to second year to third year to final year. So where is that which is happening, that first, second, third, and final year, they are collaborating together and learn. In our campus, we are trying to incorporate it where these 4 batches sit together while the case discussion happens, and the first year talks about the basic anatomy part and physiology part, and second year talks about the pathology, pathogenesis, etiology, and the third year talks about the clinical area of that particular condition, and the final years talk about the you know, the treatment modalities, the physiotherapeutic interventions. And in fact, it will be nice if we involve other professionals also, where as and when it is needed, involve them in that particular clinical decision making, so that we could able to get good knowledge. So they both are interdependent. So the practice spectrum is moving from uniprofessional to multi-professional to interprofessional and trans-professional. So they are all different from each other. Uniprofessional, you all know that it is one single professional who works on it. Multi-professional is that, group of people who are working for each other, working for that betterment of the patient, but still they are working in silos. I refer a patient to the orthopedician, he will do it, and there will be no communication between me and the orthopedician. Orthopedician might refer the patient to an orthotist, there will be no communication between. That's multi-professional. But interprofessional is, there is strong communication which happens between the professionals. Can anyone say what is trans professionals? You can feel free to unmute yourself and give your answer over here. Can someone talk about it? What is trans professional? This is, I wanted to know so that people are not sleeping, because we are closer to 10 o'clock. So this one question can, wake someone if they are feeling sleepy. What is trans? I don't mind if they unmute and say that I imagine that they are sleeping. I want some participation. Can someone say, unmute yourself, and what is trans professional? I'll give 5 seconds break. If not, I'll go ahead. You can try your answer. Anyone in the group? Trans professional. It's
if anybody wants to ask, they can raise a hand, or okay, I'm allowing the participant. Kindly, if anyone wants to answer, then only unmute themselves. You can unmute yourself for answering the question.
Correct. That will be nice if we interact also. This is one part which we are missing in online forum. Let's try to interact also. It will be nice if I can hear some other words. I'm bored of my own voice.
May I answer?
Yeah,
sure.
thank you. Please introduce yourself. Uma madam, I guess.
Yeah, I'm Uma ma'am.
Yes, ma'am,
Doctor, I've just been listening through it, and I think it matches with my way of functioning. I am working in cerebral, in CBR method, in community-based rehabilitation, and this trans professional, for me, it is transdisciplinary. Actually, we have multiple healthcare workers. We teach them, and they are responsible to carry over the work into the community. So that is how we are working. Physiotherapist, occupational therapist, social workers, and everyone is there. But then we train the community level workers, and then they are actually doing the work at the community level. We do have monitoring visits, but as far as I understand, that is trans professional.
Beautiful, ma'am. Experience speaks. You are very close to that answer. Can anybody would like to add on any other points? If you have any other different ideas also, and then I'll conclude it. Feel free to unmute yourself and share your points. It will be nice if you interact.
Yes, Kalpana, please.
Yes, please, you can introduce yourself.
Good evening.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Audible?
Madhavi?
Yeah, from Andhra Pradesh. According to my
Andhra,
knowledge,
okay. Yeah.
the various professionals working together in a team to bring about the best in the common goals that they have finally aimed for. Like, for example, you quoted the example of engineers. So engineers working to develop an app, to develop a platform like Zoom for physios to make it possible to reach each other, like how we are doing today. We are Teachers Day, and teachers are teaching teachers, teachers are listening teachers. So that's only possible because of these separate professionals who have worked as a trans professional. Thus bring it. I think it's like a basically bringing the universe together, bringing various professionals together from different professions, and thus separating those gaps for different professionals, bringing all of them under the same umbrella, though they will obviously retain their own professionalisms, and everybody will group together to bring about the results.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Kalpana. You made my job much more simpler and easier. Exactly what I said before as an example. Trans professionals are those people who are beyond our own medical. For example, we are medical professionals. As you said correctly, the software engineers. For that matter, sometimes, the layman who is not having any professional quality also sometimes can give us, guide us. Because professionals have some certain lens. We look through that and we forget to understand the basic problems encountered by a lay person also. So transport professionals are those people who are having, other than the medical field like software engineers, apart from that, one additional thing is that even they can be unqualified layman also who can contribute in our practice spectrum. So thank you so much for your contribution, Dr. Uma and Dr. Kalpana. So that's what is, we are moving from this and uni-professional. So let's ask ourselves, where are we? Are we still an uni-professional? Means you have to travel a long distance. You are multi-professionals. Yes, you have moved a step ahead. Interprofessional, beautiful that you are in the present era, what is needed. Trans-professional, you are way ahead. So let's try to embrace other professionals, because that is what the core competencies in the coming slides I'm going to talk about. As Dr. Kalpana said, we are not going to make their identity lost. They are going to be there as their unique identification as such professionals, but we are going to involve them in our care. Let's move ahead. But why are we talking now? I have already given the answer before. In the very beginning of our slides, I said the COVID era has come up proper, but this is just 2020. But I should say this problem has, yeah, this interprofessional talks and all have happened some 15 years before itself. But why are we talking now? The answer over here is, we are shortage of 4.3 million health workers worldwide. You know, the problems which are all there around across, you know, I remember my grandparents, my parents used to say, हम अपने ज़माने में तो ऐसे कोई बीमारी कभी सुना ही नहीं, कभी सोचा नहीं. It was not there before. It is happening nowadays. You know, that's the perceptions that they have. But honestly speaking, thanks to the medical advancements and all, we have a lot of investigations possible. We could able to diagnose it with a name. We give all the names. In those years, even in kingdoms also, the kings and queens and soldiers died with some other diseases unnamed. But now we are all having the name. But the population explosion is also there. And the ratio which you see between the population, the patients and the doctors or the healthcare providers, there is a huge gap. That's how now we are wanting more people to contribute for enhancing the global health. Global networks are there. You can see these are all the networks which I have put it in front of you in the slides. United Kingdom has their own interprofessional group. Japan has its own interprofessional group. European country has got, Canadian has got, Australasian has got, Norwegian country. I've taken few example over here. Tough Toward Unity for Health. There are so many organizations in the Western countries who are working on this area of collaborative health involving multiple professionals doing interprofessionalism. That's how they are trying. They are way ahead and they try to prevent so many problems which they could able to foresee and identify beautiful solutions that they could able to get out of these problems. But is there something in India? There is a question which could have been there in people's mind. What about India? Do we have such forum? These are certain forums. They are all networks. They are all registered bodies. There are people who are working in these American healthcare system. Do we have something? Yes, the answer to this question is yes. So I have given the answer also before. That's how I got my fellowship from there. That's MPhilippi, which is Mahe Famer International Institute for Leadership in Interprofessional Education, which is in Manipal. They are offering this program as a fellowship program. It is just, there are 4 institutes in the country which offers this fellowship. FAMER stands for Foundation in Advancement of Medical Education and Research. And one is in PSG Coimbatore, another is in Mumbai, and then another is in CMC Ludhiana, and this is Manipal, which is there in Mahe. But the special part here in Manipal is they have leadership in interprofessional education, whereas all the other 3 institutes are purely only medical education. They have recently started this INDIPEN. You can Google it. We are the founder, we are all members into it. INDIPEN is the Indian Interprofessional Education Network, which is similar to these networks, which are all in other countries. We have this thing over here, INDIPEN. You can Google it. You can become members in that. There are a lot of professionals, as we talked about before. It's just not only doctors, it's just not only healthcare providers. There are engineers into it. There are architects who are there. I know one of my FAMER project was a little bit possible because of the help of the architecture. I did a project which got Mahe grant also, which is on accessible issue. my research work was on identifying the accessibility issues for people with locomotor disability. So I had to have an architect on my team. You know, we call it as built environment. Do you have a house which is non-slippery? Do you have a house for a disabled who can enter into your bathroom with the wheelchair? Does the door is wide open? In a hospital where the reception, is it at the lower level where a person in the wheelchair can approach the receptionist to share his files and all? You know, now the whole world, even the present government is also having a campaign, Accessible India campaign. You know, now we are now moving towards inclusive society. We are moving for inclusive education and practice. So this independent is working for, I just gave an example for accessibility disability, but this independent is mainly for people who wanted to work as a team. You can become a member. As of now, there is no charges for getting the membership. You can just have to log in, you give your details and you get your membership, and you can collaborate with many people who are like-minded, who wanted to enhance the global health. So India is also on the road. We are already on board and we are doing a lot of good work. In my FAMER fellowship program, my batchmates were all from metallurgical engineer. A person was working on water, elements of water, which is spoiling the health. Someone was doing on soil evaluation. We had a person from some electrical engineer who was working on mind wandering, whether the student is focusing. You know, that was a very versatile batch where people from other professions also learned about with each other. So this is the interprofessional, which is across all the settings. You can see the arrow marks moving. The patient is in acute care, he is in a primary care, and finally he goes into the rehabilitation care. Previously, when the arrow marks are not there, you know, so it is working in silos. That red people are working in silos. They move within that, but here you see there is proper communication, seamless care for the patient. You know, everybody works for the betterment of the patient. The arrow marks are jumbled. Everybody is working for it. That's the goal. Regular and frequent dialogue between all the healthcare givers within and between settings as necessary. So now there is no I in the team. It's all we. Healthcare professionals who perceive themselves and other healthcare professionals as part of the team working collaboratively for patient-centered care. So it's not that I am doing it. I am the one who is superior in the team. You know, in the rehabilitation team, and you all remember in your college days, we talk about the team, rehabilitation team. Physiatrist is the head of the team, followed by neurologist, physiotherapist, occupational therapist, recreation therapist. You know, that concept is gone now. Nobody is head. Based on the importance, need of the patient, the headship rotates. Like how in medical colleges, the head remains for 3 years and then the other person comes in. Similarly, sometimes the physiatrist may be heading that area for that particular patient. Sometimes it is the physiotherapist who heads the team and give multiple referrals. You know, it is all we. There is no I in the team, which I wanted to emphasize on this auspicious day. Let's work as a team and move ahead. We have few slides closer to the end. I request all of you to patiently listen. It is very important slides are coming in. So when we want the people to do good interprofessional practice, we have to embed that in our education system itself. Here you see, this is the college. This is the teaching institute where it is learner centric, it is student centric, and we have professional beliefs and attitudes, and the educators are doing that. We have this MISO is institutional factors where the institution has to provide freedom to do, and the teaching factors, the micro level, where the teachers have to adopt that system. Even the NAC, which is the National Assessment and Accreditation Council, also emphasize on all these things. Involvement of external consultancy, how many people are coming in, and you could able to financially fetch something when involving other people. So education system itself should involve interprofessional component. That's what I need to say. So, but probably for many areas, we have to have policy changes there. But I'm sure in the coming years, we'll be doing that. So when you have this learner-centric education interprofessionally, the outcomes is going to be in a similar way where the patient is in the center and we have the professionals who is going to involve the interactional factors and organizational factors for providing interprofessional education. So for that, there are some regulatory bodies which has to permit, allow, and give freedom to do that. There are some legal issues and liabilities, which I think when we are all educated, we'll be doing it so well. And this is the framework which was given way back in 2004. I've given the reference over here. So now the last area is the competency domain. So if you want tomorrow, I have not been practicing till today. Tomorrow I wanted to practice. I'm going to start this interprofessional. If many of you wanted to do that, please adopt these 4 areas of work. interprofessional teamwork and team-based practice. So now enlist when the patient comes to you, identifying the problem, diagnosing the issues, doing that physical and functional diagnosis, make a team who and all can be part of it, and then have a good communication practice. You communicate with them. These are the problems and these are the areas where you should come in, and you have to do help, and you have to pitch in and give your services. So communicate with them and exactly define the roles and responsibilities. So what is the roles and responsibilities of those other professionals who are going to come and give a collaborative practice? And please maintain the values and ethics for interprofessional practice. This bioethics is an important area. I think we are physiotherapists, and by and large are very sensitive to it, because why I say this is there is a reason behind. We are the people who spend a lot of time with a patient. A patient comes in and he stays with you for sometime months to years, and every sitting he stays with you for 30 minutes to 45 minutes to sometimes 2 hours also. Whereas in surgeons, though they operate a person for 12 hours, he is completely, the patient is under anesthesia. For the medical people, it is hardly 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and he goes away. But in physiotherapy, we follow by and large all these values and ethics. That's how we are in the need of the hour, and we are most sought after profession in this present era. Now, there are evidences for interprofessional education. There is increased understanding of others' roles and skills, like such webinars, such conferences, there are interprofessional conferences occurring across the globe. This year, it was by this October 20th and 21st, already it was scheduled in Doha, Qatar, interprofessional conference. I got enrolled for that, and one of my research work was accepted, but due to this COVID, it got postponed. Every year there are which happens across interprofessional conferences occurring. I wish we should all attend that. Even this Sonipat, which is near Delhi, they have this Sonipat Institute of Technology along with Indian Spinal Injury Centers. They conduct every year. Empower is the name of the conference, where multiple professionals. I am happen to be part of this conference for the last 2 years, and it is a wonderful conference where multiple professionals comes in and share their ideas. And in fact, you have people with disabilities on the stage talking about their personal experiences. That's why I said trans professional means they are not from the medical background, they are not qualified for that, but they are speaking their experiences. We learn from this experiential learning, So these are all enhanced team working skill improved as we open up our brains. So there is again further evidence. This is going to reduce the fragmented services. In the first slide, which I saw, the services are fragmented. Now we are going for continuum and better access to services, shorter waiting times, collaborative decision making with the family. It is going to increase better patient outcomes, safety and satisfaction. That is going to be there, because in a shorter time, too many people come in and try to give their best so the patient can get the satisfaction completely. More appropriate referrals, improved safety and quality. And there is a lot of critical thinking which happens, because by involving more people, understanding their roles and responsibilities, we plan our activities in such a way. And there is better communication, reduced hospital admissions. That is the advantage, and these are the evidences why we wanted to go for interprofessional practice. The quality healthcare, which is giving safe, which is effective, patient-centric, timely, efficient, and equitable. That's more important. Providing care that does not vary in quality because of personal characteristics. When you are talking about quality healthcare, you have to give it, whether it is the richest man's son or a rickshaw puller's son, both of them get equitable quality treatment. That's very important, which is the most important thing we need to always understand. And second is that our Hippocrates oath, do no harm. That's more important. Do treat is not the first sentence given by Hippocrates. It is a do no harm. Don't harm the patient. If you can't able to treat it, please don't create any harm. So at least refer the patient to the right person. There are some barriers. Having talked about interprofessional education and practice, it is not that easy to bring into our system. It needs a lot of time to bring it into a curriculum. And probably when you are involving more people, they expect money and rewards. You should have competing curricular demands. Logistics should work out. When you want to involve engineers in your classroom, you need to have certain logistics which needs, and there is lack of trust or respect. As I told you, people will feel that when I share my knowledge to them, they will overtake me and where I'll be lost. And professional identity. These are certain barriers, but with proper communication and understanding, we could able to overcome that. But said and done, it is there. We have to be very, very careful, understanding and overcome that barriers. There is furthermore, there are needs to emphasize this. We need more evidence, though it is there almost 20 years in practice in Western countries, but still there are very less literature. There are journals, 2-3 journals approved journal, Interprofessional Education and Practice is a journal, which is a Canadian journal, which is taking all sort of activities related to IPE, but still we need more champions who have proven themselves. We need to give editorial write-ups. We have to share it in the public media about such success stories. And administrative leadership, that's more important. Participatory administrative leadership, where your HOD, your boss understands that, and we need to do that. Faculty development and rewards needs to be receptor sites in practice. So these are all the need. When we bring more evidences on these areas, probably the whole world will agree to it, and we can reduce the shortage of healthcare providers. So this is the message. Involve even animals too are a stakeholder. Don't leave them. Try to involve people. Everybody has their right. This Person with Disabilities Act talks about rights and responsibilities. You know, even a person with disability too has a right to ask for his need. You know, involve everybody and identify yourself as a team member. You can be the leader. You can be the head of the department. You can be the director, but still you are again part of the team. Let's say example as in the cricket team. It's not the captain who always backs century. It's not the captain who always bowls out and catches everything. He is the person who leads. Of course, we want them, but he is also part of the team. So let's all understand this concept of interprofessionalism, which is the way ahead for in our profession. We have a lot of scope. I have personally experienced it, and by adopting this practice, I'm sure this world will be one of the best place to live in, because we have done a lot of chaos. That's how nature hits back. May it be tsunami, may it be a fire across, and then accidents, and this corona. It's not curse. It's not that God has given that. It is because of our own misunderstanding, we go against nature and it hits back. But now understanding this area of collaborative practice, we can make this a better place for all of us. So this is my take-home message. I have given my email ID and my WhatsApp number over here. If any queries, even now, if the organizers have time, we can chat for 2-3 more minutes. You can put it in the chat box, or you can mail me, message me. I'll be glad to share more literatures, ideas, answers to you. Thank you everyone for your patient listening, and God bless everyone. Again, I thank Dr. Harsh and Himanshu and his whole team for coming on stage on this wonderful occasion. I think I should say this is one of the milestone and an important day in my life. I have never done on September 5th any talk so far now in my 25 years of career, and you have given a great chance for me to share my ideas. I feel humbled and I feel grateful to both of you, and it is more heartening, and I feel thankful that I have done some small justice as a teacher to share my small knowledge, whatever I have on this wonderful platform. Let me switch on my video also. As I am done, I can interact with all of you. Over to the organizers. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks for your wonderful deliberation, for our sincere appreciation. That is your always kind gesture. And after listening to you, it's always a learning treat for all of us. I would like to request all the attendees, because all are our respected academicians, if any of the attendees wishes to add on to what Hari sir has explained, you all are most welcome. We can unmute all of you. If anybody wishes to suggest something, wishes to add on, or if anyone wants to ask something to the orator of the day, Professor Hari sir, all of you are most welcome. Any of you. Dr. Himanshu, it will be so nice if you can unmute all of them.
Go ahead, please. I'll be glad to answer. You can share your knowledge also, any experiences. I'll be happy to learn from you too.
Because it's such a profound honor to have all the dignitaries on this forum. Even if a line is coming from all of you, it will be again icing on the cake today.
All are allowed to unmute themselves.
Okay. And if anybody wishes to clarify any of the things which there were in the session, I think Professor Hari sir will be more than happy to answer this.
100%. I'm there for that.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
ma'am.
I'm Madhavi.
Madhavi ma'am, most welcome, ma'am. Please, ma'am.
Things from
Yeah.
directly from Tirupati. Thank you.
Yeah, Hari.
Yes.
You remember.
100%. Why not? From same
Nice to hear you again. Your nice presentation. I think this interpersonal, whatever the professionalism which you have taken today as a topic for discussion is very apt. It is appreciable. I think we need to, it's high time we need to start all this, and we should start with conferences where we can invite the different professionals such that the awareness will, I mean, not awareness, it is the more of cooperation and interactions will start, and gradually we can include into the curriculum one by one so that we can encourage this interprofessionalism, because we have also have been trying this on physiotherapy days to have a different professional opinion on single condition. For example, rheumatoid arthritis. So we invited Ayurvedic people, we invited Vedic personals, we invited yoga, we invited orthopedician, occupational therapist for a panel discussion to give their opinion. Similarly, we can include very slowly into the conferences as well as into the curriculum. That will be nice, I think, as you suggested, it will be more very good. We should start all this interprofessional in India also.
Perfect. That's a good idea. That's why I shared about this conference which is happening. Maybe physio-educators can do that because they are capable of and they are highly energetic, dynamic people. We should have on board such people who can throw more light. And I have a lot of contacts. I'll be glad to share it with the team. We need to come together. It's high time. Thank you, Dr. Madhavi, for this bringing at that point. Thank you. Adding on to it.
Thanks a lot, Madhavi ma'am, for giving us enlightenment. And again, thanks to you, Harihar sir, for igniting a spark again to our team, giving us a new topic. And any of the other respected dignitaries who wishes to share their knowledge or expertise on this auspicious day, all of you are most welcome. And if everybody is okay, yes, ma'am, yes, sir.
Hello.
I think, yes, Srinivasan sir, most welcome, sir. Please.
Good evening. I'm Srinivasan here.
Yes, sir.
The teamwork, I really feel happy because when we work in KK Rehab Center, we used to have Siddhas and naturopathy and Ayurvedic fellows for internship posting. Okay,
Yes,
I
sir.
work on a spinal cord injury. We work in different mudras. They try and there is a massage. So we put all together on how to work on these patients because some patients know they have an idea. If they go to Siddha, I'll be all right, especially in rheumatoid. But we work together in the team for the 2 months training, and we did many projects on paraplegic patients. Nice, we have to work with the team. Thank you.
Wonderful. Experience speaks. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for sharing your expertise again. Any of the respected academicians who wishes to share?
We have from all four corners people, from south, from
Yes, sir.
north, west, and east. You have gathered people together on this forum.
Yes, sir. We have some people out of our country also, and no doubt all proud Indians.
I see from Bangladesh, Mohan Nallatambi.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hello, Mohan sir. Most welcome. Would you like to share something?
From my UG Institute. Hi, Mohan.
Hi, sir. Hi, sir. How are you? Good evening. Good evening to you all.
Good evening. Nice to see you after so many years.
Yes, actually, just I entered now.
Okay.
I didn't because I was with my duty. Just finished and I just entered in the lecture. Actually, I don't have anything now. I will share you, sir, the next classes.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Mohan sir. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And I think it's going to be 10:30 in the night now, and it's so nice of all of you to be there on this forum. Before calling it a day, before winding off today's proceedings, I would just like to request Dr. Himanshu to let me share my screen. Obviously, I'm not going to deliver any lecture. I'll be just conveying a thought. I'll be just conveying a thought, and I think that is a, a gesture from our end to our departed souls. So I would like Dr. Himanshu. Yes. I'm sharing my screen. Kindly bear with me just for a minute. Is my screen visible, Dr. Himanshu? Is my screen visible, Harihar sir?
Yeah, perfect. We could able to see. I'm touched and moved by seeing these photographs.
Okay, so just a small addressal to all the esteemed panel here. In these past few months of pandemic, we have, I'm sorry to use the word, we have lost gems of our profession. There are few pictures which are available with me. I'm sure there are more than that, but this is just a symbol. Starting from the left picture is Dr. Shiva. The next picture is Dr. Bhavesh Topiwala from Indore. On the extreme right is Dr. Prince Sam in tie. Near to him is Dr. Abhishek Singh. And in the center is a man, is a visionary, is a teacher of teachers who needs no introduction, Professor A.G. Dandapani sir. He has left us physically. He'll be always there with all of us. I would request all of you just to pay and observe a 1 minute of silence for these departed souls. A 1 minute of silence from all of us. Amen. Om Shanti. Coming from this frame, on a positive note, physiotherapy has done tremendous work again in this pandemic era. Many of our colleagues, professionals and seniors are doing tremendous jobs serving the COVID patients. And we have been daily seeing our physio fellows working in PPE kits day in and day out. So huge respect, a sense of applause for all of them. This being the day of the professionals, of the academicians, of the teachers, I would like to take this opportunity to appreciate the work of all the professionals of physiotherapy, and they all are teaching us every time. At the last, in the words of the man, Dr. Salvapalli Radhakrishnan sir, a good teacher is like a candle that consumes itself while lighting the way for others. So, even if people like me who are very shallow in knowledge, if we can contribute a drop to this ocean of physiotherapy, will be more than anything. And I would like to pay my sincere thanks to all of you for joining this noble cause, for joining this Teachers' Day Summit, for being there till late night. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to the eminent orator of today's session, Professor R. Harihar sir. Humble gratitude to all the dignitaries from all the age groups, because it's very tough to come here at late night, that too being a Saturday night, and that too when none of us are now used to being taught. We are used to teach. So we all were taught today. we again sat for around 2 hours. So a sincere respect, sense of appreciation from behalf of Team Physio Inculcators. Thanks to all of you. It's been a nice being with all of you. Just a request to all the attendees, we would be sharing those 3 things: a token of gratitude, a certificate of participation of this summit, and a memorabilia for the 50 traits of a successful medical teacher, what we have combined. We'll be also sharing a gratitude form to all of you, plus a feedback form, so that we can improvise whatever mistakes we have done till now. My sincere regards to all of you. Thanks to all of you. And I would like Dr. Himanshu to end the meeting after my words. Professor Harrier, sir, thanks a lot to you. Thanks a lot, very much.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure, and 100% dedication. And I'm very touched and moved with the way the gestures that you both have done. And thanks to all the attendees. They're all very good friends of mine, and seniors and juniors, budding physios. Glad to see all in one platform. Thanks to Physio Inculcators. And nice gesture of these memorabilia and other certificates is something innovative. And Physio Inculcators always come up with some other new things. Kudos to you, and kudos to the whole team. Over to Himanshu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks to all of you. And it's great to see all the attendees, all the senior professors, academicians together. Thanks to all of you. It's time to say goodbye. Definitely we'll be meeting for a next any other session sometime. Wishing you all a very happy Teachers' Day again, and again a Mother Profession Day coming up. Wishing you all in advance a happy World Physiotherapy Day. Thanks a lot. We can call it a day. Thank you, Dr.